What's going on? Non-intellectual intellectuals here. We're just a group of five boys talking about hot topics and chatting shit. So we got Hunter here.
Harvey, first on the slate. Currently studying at Deakin University. I went to high school with these boys, so I know how stupid they are firsthand.
That's a GG. We got Rob,
Oh, hello, Rob Jurek.
aka
I,
Dropout.
I'm a musician and a filmmaker, and that's about it.
As I
for
said, Dropout.
Yep.
Then we got Josh.
What's going on? My name's Josh, studying exercise sports science with our host Nino. So it's always a bit of fun, and just looking forward to chat some shit, having a good time.
And then we've got Ryan.
Hey, I'm Brian Nolte, if you want. Studying exercise physiology up at Bendigo.
So he's a bit better than
A
us.
bit of a hike from where we live. Yeah.
A bit high class.
And then obviously myself, your host Nino. So yeah, first podcast, so
And Nino.
we're a bit rusty, but we'll see how we go.
Are we gonna discuss with the listeners why we've chosen the name of our podcast?
Yeah, so non-intellectual intellectuals, boys. What do you reckon?
I think it's because we try and sound smarter than what we actually are. Big word.
And also maybe probably to do with the fact that all of us except for Rob are studying pretty
intricate
high up
course, I'd
degrees,
say.
like
That's
very
you can be
very
stupid.
active.
Fuck, he's going
Using
there.
any pad.
He's going there.
Yeah, but very, very academic. Yet, for whatever reason, we still manage to carry on like absolute spastics. So that's where the non-intellectual part comes into it, I suppose.
But
yeah.
we use rather extravagant words, as you'll notice. So today, as everyone knows, there's a bit of shit going around in the world with this coronavirus. So we wanted to just sort of bring light to it and sort of fuck around and sort of talk about conspiracies surrounding it. So, do any of you boys have any little
Schultz should
conspiracies?
go first. I was really intrigued in what he had to say.
Yeah,
He
it's
said he's got some bangers, so let's hear him.
Yeah, run
He
it.
always talks a big talk, though.
Let us do the set list here.
this is probably gonna take a while to read through. Like, it's probably when I first saw this, it took me about half an hour to read the whole thing. So I've just spent like the last
Maybe just have a
hour
little
and a bit.
synopsis of it.
Yeah,
Maybe
no, I've
with
spent
some
like the last
truncated
hour and a
version.
bit just sort of like cutting it down and just getting the main points out of it.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a big conspiracy surrounding obviously the coronavirus and how it originated in China. And it's like I'm not sure personally whether I believe it. Considering this came out about a month ago and I haven't really heard any more about it, I'm probably a bit inclined to stray away from believing it. But it's still really interesting to have a look at, and it's pretty dark as well. And
Well, come on,
we
get
probably-
to it, cunt.
Fuck, 2 hours to go.
You don't have all,
All right,
you don't have all fucking day, mate. Let's hurry it up.
All right, so this is the title of it. It came up on Facebook. Just in secret behind coronavirus leaked, and these are the bits I've cut out. So it starts off: I'm a senior Chinese military intelligence officer, and I know the truth about the coronavirus outbreak. It is far worse than the media are telling you. I'm a Chinese citizen in Wuhan who occupies, or perhaps occupied, a high-ranking position in military intelligence. I have information that I believe could lead to the overthrow of my government. It is also relevant to billions of people outside of China, all of whom are now in existential peril. Familiar with the recent outbreak of COVID-19 or simply coronavirus, you'll have heard that it originated in Wuhan, an industrial city in China, and that it came from an animal, most likely a bat or a pangolin.
A pangolin?
I got no idea. Yeah,
A
if
penguin.
one of you boys wants to look up. If one of you boys wants to look up for pangolin, be my
It's
guess.
definitely from a bat. Like,
Yeah,
right?
it's got to be.
Yeah,
that's from
well,
bats.
that's what
In the food
the media
market.
tells us. But for the sake of this, let's just
No,
agree
yeah,
that
it's
it
high
came from
ranking
a
Chinese.
pangolin.
You don't know more than
Pangolins are
else.
like
Anyway,
armadillos.
Ah, true.
like a Chinese armadillo.
Yep.
Oh,
All right.
Anyway, so most likely a bat or a pangolin that was sold in a wild animal market. You will have been told that it is an influenza-like illness that can cause severe cases of pneumonia, respiratory failure, and death. All of that is a bunch of lies concocted by the Chinese state with the tacit support of the US deep state and its friends in the European Union, Russia, and Australia, and spread by the docile media in all of those countries. Last year, large-scale anti-government protests erupted in Hong Kong. The Standing Committee of the Chinese Communist Party considered these to be a grave threat to the integrity and stability of the Chinese motherland. The US government and the EU both knew that the Chinese were secretly working on a biological agent that was supposed to make the protesters docile and obedient.
A biological
Without going-
Asian.
Yeah.
Is that what you
So
said?
they're, yeah. So the US and the EU are saying that Chinese, like, are telling the Chinese government to work on a biological agent to make these protesters
Oh, agent.
basically more obedient.
So
It's kind of
basically,
like the 5G one. Oh, and that they
It's a
say.
5G one.
Well, they said since like the 5G towers got installed in Wuhan, that's how like the virus started.
So
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
conspiracy I
Continue.
heard.
Continue.
Yeah, just
so
keep going.
it's the people from Hong Kong protesting against China.
Yeah, anti-government. So they're basically all the people that are saying "fuck communism," like this is bullshit. We want to be like, most of the other countries in the EU.
They were a separate country, Hong Kong.
And you're saying they created coronavirus as a weapon?
The protests erupted in Hong Kong.
It's because Hong Kong was they were separate to China, like a separate country. Kind of.
Well, fucking, I don't know,
Their own
Ryan. I'm not a
He's a non-intellectual,
Oh,
mate.
mate. I'm not an
Hey.
expert.
Ryan,
You've
You're
got-
better than all of us.
Don't come at me
He's
all.
been-
Chinese history, mate. I'm just reading it. All right, just chill out. Anyway, so what this bloke's saying is he's a high-ranking Chinese military official, and he actually worked on this biological agent. So they tried to develop a sort of spray that could be dispersed from helicopters or drones, and that would lead to mental retardation and behavioural change.
Mental retardation.
Yeah,
God.
so they want to make all these protesters retarded.
They made
pretty much.
Down syndrome into a virus.
Yep.
Into
So-
virus form.
So they rounded up a large number of these so-called Islamic radicals and put them in a bunch of training camps, which they'd already been using for human experimentation for several years. They exposed the inmates to various alpha experimental agents. As these were odorless and invisible, the subjects were not aware that they were taking part in medical trials. The resulting high rates of cancer, premature dementia, suicidal depression, and death by organ failure could be easily suppressed, as the camps are located in very remote parts of our Chinese motherland. Some of the worst offenders. These included human rights lawyers and activists, Christians, homosexuals, artists, intellectuals, people who speak foreign languages, and other
Intellectuals.
undesirables.
Screwed.
So,
Oh,
so
God,
we'd all be fucked, basically.
Or safe. Probably
Well,
safe.
Rob for a variety of those reasons, just quietly. Once these troublemakers had been collected and placed in the testing facility, we exposed them to the agent, which is biochemical in nature and spread in an invisible aerosol, akin to certain other viruses. Initial results were encouraging as we saw significant cognitive decline and reduction in higher mental processing facilities. Essentially, our undesirables were becoming mildly mentally disabled, which is precisely the effect we wanted to produce in order to pacify the restive population of Hong Kong. It became apparent that the agent had other effects. About 1 week after the retardation set in, our subjects developed major anxiety and panic attacks. Eventually, they developed symptoms akin to those of paranoid schizophrenics. At that point, their bodies rapidly deteriorated. They developed massive internal bleeding. The walls of their arteries dissolved. They bled out of their eyes and orifices, and their tissues disintegrated. To put it in more direct Western manner, they started to melt.
Can I just stop
Wait,
you there for a
so-
sec?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you insinuating that the coronavirus we're currently experiencing is this what you're saying?
No.
That's my question.
So this is what it's about to get to. So they've got this agent and they've got the coronavirus. they're gonna. This is what I'm getting into now. They're gonna link it up. So there's a
Right.
link between the two of these.
Right.
This is like stage
So-
1 coronavirus that everyone else has.
The
So
alpha
after this, they
I'll get that
decided
beta
that they didn't want to use this agent because it's too destructive for their purposes. They wanted to make the population of Hong Kong submit to them. They didn't want to, like exterminate the whole
Mhm.
population.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so America, the great America, under the tutelage of Donald Trump, had taken an interest in their work and asked China for a sample of the research, obviously to experiment themselves with it, and China refused because of how toxic the agent was and how destructive it is. So anyway, this guy acknowledges that that was a mistake because the CIA was convinced that we had developed something very powerful and wanted to keep it for ourselves. So America were basically thinking, well, Chinese have got this biological weapon and they're going to fuck up the whole world with it. So the CIA offered another high-ranking Chinese official fat sum of money to sell him a specimen. And when they went to do this deal, the vial that was containing the agent was dropped on the floor and released in the food market that they said coronavirus was released from in Wuhan.
So you're saying one clumsy
That's like
cunt
some-
caused coronavirus?
He just dropped this.
You
He
just
dropped
dropped the
yeah.
container
coronavirus
with
on the floor.
coronavirus in it.
Yeah, so he's dropped this agent when he was meant to be giving it to the CIA in the food market in Wuhan, and that was how it was released.
Rob, I fucking thought I told you to stay home, dog.
I believed every bit of that story up until you said he dropped the fucking container.
Yeah.
It seems like, when you're writing a creative story at the start of high school and you need to finish it because it's coming to the end of the
Yeah,
period.
you got a
you're like,
minute
"Oh,
left."
Drop the virus. There it goes, across the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, legit.
10 minutes left, guys. Oh fuck! Oh, what's the ending gonna be? Oh, fucking. I just
Like
dropped
he
it.
was about to run out of data for the month. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna post this now, boys." Oh, drop the virus.
In reality, this is continuing. In reality, of course, there is no coronavirus. It is all made up. It was one of my colleagues who came up with a genius idea of pretending that people with the common flu suffered from the coronavirus. This allowed us to hide the true nature of the disease. And given the size of Wuhan, with its population of 11 million, it is not known to even many of the residents at this point. But within days, thousands upon thousands were infected, and before long they suffered the agonizing deaths that I have already described. Within a week, there were so many corpses that we did not know what to do with them, so we ordered the surviving social credit prisoners to drive the bodies into the countryside and bury them in mass graves. I understand that what I just said is difficult to believe, but these are the influenza infections that have been falsely passed off as a non-existent coronavirus. The agent is far, far more contagious than that, and its fatality rate, unlike the coronavirus, is not 2%. No, its fatality rate is 100%. Nobody recovers from it. Everybody who contracts it dies.
Shit.
So he's saying that the coronavirus is not real. It's just it's just the media and governments are passing it off as nothing more than the common flu.
But are they still
To cover-
recording numbers of flu deaths and coronavirus deaths separately? Because I guess nobody's really talked about flu deaths since the corona started.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're just saying all the flu deaths. They're basically just saying is coronavirus
They're
as
just
a big cover up for this agent that's been released by a clumsy cunt in a food market.
so this agent that's been released is responsible for all those deaths we were hearing about in China initially.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Jeez.
China built a new hospital called Huo Shenshan Hospital in Wuhan in order to provide
Hey,
additional
just before
quarantine.
just before you start, Salts, did you guys obviously none of you would have watched it, but they live streamed the making of this hospital, right?
Nah, I
Yeah.
haven't seen that.
And then they're giving the workers names. They're giving the trucks names or whatever. I don't know any of the names, but I just remember this being on the news every day. Red truck has a name, is a fan favorite right now. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Nah.
So they built this hospital, and you may have heard that they only built it in 10 days. That too is a lie. Sure, they did build something in 6 days, but it was not a hospital. The true nature of the building was top secret. Whatever you want to call that place, it is not a hospital. There, thousands of infected patients lie, all of them in the early stages of the disease. Their cries and pleas haunt me in the long nights in which I am now unable to sleep, but this was merely the beginning. At the back of the facility, guards appear to have been selected for their cruelty, for they beat and degraded the patients in the most sadistic manner.
Sounds
Many
like
of the
a different
inmates...
author, man. Like now, this bit does.
Hey?
This bit sounds like a different author.
Nah,
Like,
Yeah.
it's all the same.
yeah.
So
alright.
Keep going.
he's in this hospital. He's been invited into this hospital to see what's going on. And he's seeing guards beating and degrading the patients in a sadistic way. The inmates had regressed to childlike states and lay on the floor weeping like infants and begging for the compassion they did not receive. There was a cruel pleasure in the eyes of the thugs that they brutalised the unfortunates. They beat them with batons, sprayed pepper spray into their eyes, and kicked them with their steel-capped boots. As I was from military intelligence, the guards did not even attempt to hide their activities. They even invited me to join. In every way, they treated me as one of them. It took me a little while before I grasped what was happening. I simply could not believe what lay at the end of the path in the core of that facility. It was an enormous furnace with great fires roaring within. One by one, their minds destroyed and their bodies twisted. Dying men and women carried the corpses to the furnace and cast them inside in a doomed attempt to hide the dreadful truth. I saw several of them collapse from exhaustion, only for their lifeless bodies to be added to the mountains of corpses on both sides. In a seemingly endless line they went, their emaciated bodies clad in grey overalls, their backs bent under the weight of the dreadful cargo. Many howled and groaned in terror, and their voices joined a sorrowful cacophony that lingered over the roar of the fires.
Never clue.
Yeah,
mate.
whatever that word is.
Sure.
In a matter of weeks, the agents had spread from not only every single province of the Chinese motherland, but to most of the other nations in the world. It became clear to me their efforts to cover this up were pointless. Yes, the lockdowns, travel bans, and targeted assassinations of rebellious journalists allowed us to hide the true situation in Wuhan, but I knew this would not last. Once the mass deaths begin in the rest of the world, in our estimation, this should happen within the next week or so, everyone will know the truth. It will become clear that we cannot protect ourselves from the agent. Surgical masks, hand sanitizer, gloves, nothing can stop it. Not long ago, we received results of the regular tests that are a part of our priority medical treatment, and we learned that my son had been infected with the agent. We had long ago decided that we would be different. We would be honest with him, always. And so when he asked us, we told him the truth. We told him that he was very sick. He asked more, and we told him he would not get better. He continued asking, and we told him that he would die. He is very small, but he was old enough to understand. His terrified wails will haunt me for the rest of my miserable days in this world. Let them come. Let them to do with me as they will. I no longer care.
The fuck,
And
Dude,
that's it.
this is fucked, dude. That just
No,
gave me
that-
goosebumps.
bro. That
This is
the
fucked.
first half. There was bits in the first half where I was kind of like, yeah, I can get behind that. And then
Yeah.
and then there's just bits that like, doesn't make sense to me at all.
For
You got to remember as well that what I've just read you is only a snippet of this whole thing. Like that's probably only about
jeez,
a tenth of this whole bloody essay which I've read out.
It's just like
So
sounds like some author's just trying to, get some money off it. Obviously, like we don't know the original poster. Be interesting to see,
Yeah.
find out who it was.
look, for a story, I'd give that a 10 out of 10. But like,
Great story.
Yeah, good story.
when
Like,
you
just
when
like the
Hey,
Bible,
when you said the world would know in a week, what it actually is. When was this posted?
a month ago.
Yeah, well, there we go.
we got them there.
We got him there. But
The thing I did think was
But if you've got if any of you have any questions about it, like
it's just
where he talks
It's
about it.
it's just a bloke letting his mind run, really.
I just feel like this dude just like went way too hard on Plague Inc. And he's like, damn,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I'll add that into my story. Like,
Yeah,
100% death rate. Oh yeah, fucking put it in, boys.
Yeah.
I'm very, very
the thing-
skeptical of this one.
the thing I think is likely, like that actually could happen, would be to make like a disease that you can control people with,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
like at the
that's
start.
that's what I was gonna
Do you
say.
reckon that's something
wouldn't
that's
want a disease
potentially
that kills
could happen in the future?
Yeah,
How
well,
does it gonna work for you?
so say this whole coronavirus thing. I got a question for the group. do you guys actually know anyone who has coronavirus or had coronavirus?
Oh,
Um,
no, I don't actually.
Because I don't.
but I've had
It sounds like
Like,
famous
this-
people.
No, well,
This
no,
lady came in-
personally.
but just it's getting to the point now where it's a little bit too close for comfort, because I was at work yesterday and this lady came in and she was telling me about how like she was wearing a mask, she was wearing gloves, she had a little thing of hand sanitizer like clipped to her belt, and she was telling me about that she's from a street in East Geelong, like literally she said the name of the street, I can't remember it now, but it was only a few streets over from where I work. And she was like, yeah, 6 people on my street have got it.
Oh shit,
So
really?
I'm here buying food for them as well.
Yeah, look, mum works at the hospital, right? She said that there's been, I think, 10, maybe 10 confirmed in the hospital, in her hospital anyway. But 6 to be in that street, I'm not sure. I think that's just the little old lady telling fibs.
The thing is, like, some people will get it, but not actually know they've got it.
Yeah, a lot of people are asymptomatic.
Like,
just
you
be a
don't,
carrier. That's whack.
Yeah.
you don't get the full symptoms. Like, you just have like mild symptoms, like a flu, or a cold, maybe.
But that's what. So, say if there wasn't coronavirus, look how easy it was to literally control the world. If it is just a flu, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how would you convince all these like professionals? Surely coronavirus under the microscope would look different to any other sort of like illness or like different strain.
If
You know
these
what I mean?
if these professionals are like actually talking about it, then yes,
He's
but
paid off.
I don't know.
could
maybe
be
we should
paid
get
off. Yeah,
Maybe we should get a scientist on the next episode.
guest speaker.
guess speaker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think this whole
their knowledge.
thing's like made me think like, yeah, it's so easy to control, and you could like any government in the world could easily create a virus like this and
Or
create mass panic.
But
like,
or not, like just not actually create a virus, but just say there's a virus.
I definitely think China's dodgy, like in this whole thing, like with the whole cover up of it initially.
Oh, they
Yeah,
definitely.
well, apparently they have a cure and they just refuse to share it with the World Health Organization.
Yeah, but we have
Honestly,
we have a
wouldn't be
cure for
surprised.
cancer too. So that's what everyone says.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Australia has a cure for cancer.
Dude, yeah, I doubt that, mate.
You just said we have a cure for cancer.
No, I'm saying, jeez, and this is why we're called non-intellectual intellectuals, ladies and
No.
gentlemen.
He's saying like that people can say they got a cure for cancer, but it's like not actually true.
Yes.
All right.
All the reported cases in
Don't do
China
it.
now are like going down. The bell curve for them was like 4 months, and now like businesses are starting to reopen. Like things are going back to normal apparently.
In China.
It's
Yeah,
gone back.
and then
They
you just look at-
started opening. Sorry.
Good to know you're still here, Rob.
Fuck you, cunt. No. They started opening up the cinemas back in China, but then they literally closed it back off because they thought for 3 days they had gotten no, like not one increase in numbers, but now they've been still getting like plentiful, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
I
it's
reckon they're still covering up a lot because even at the start, like initially they were covering up like that much that all the other countries were asking like, what are your actual numbers? Like, tell us.
but
I feel like
I've
they're
seen
still
I've seen
bullshitting.
some numbers from North Korea. You know, goes from 1 to 0. 1 to 0.
Yeah, facts.
Like it's pretty radical the way they deal with it, but you can almost kind of respect it in a way because they're like literally one of the only countries left that don't
Yeah,
have any
man.
cases.
Kim Jong Un is a motherfucker. That's for
I wonder
sure.
why.
The corona goat.
The Corona
Him
King.
being that guy in North Korea with no more symptoms other than like a cough and a sore throat, he just gets a shotty shell to the head.
Yeah, fuck. Poor guy.
Jesus.
Poor guy. Oh well,
Yeah.
what do you do? Shouldn't have caught it, you dumb fuck.
Anyway, how are all you boys actually dealing with like this whole isolation thing? Like I know you've told me a little bit, but
It's pretty boring, eh?
It's boring, but like it opens up opportunities to do things like this. Like I know Nino always wanted to do a podcast in the past, and now we're finally doing it.
Yeah, and it's good fun, isn't it?
Like yeah, it's all about maintaining like physical distancing, but not social isolation. You know,
Wise
Bit
words.
more. You
Wise
gotta
words.
still find innovative ways to catch up with your friends.
Yeah, that's it.
Like me and Salts have been going surfing and stuff.
I'll tell
Yeah.
Sky. I'll fucking
Yeah,
tell
Keeping social
Sky.
distancing.
We'll still be able to do that though. Like,
Yeah. Well, they've closed the beaches, but like they say you're still allowed to get out for your hour of
Exercise or whatever.
it is.
Exercise. Yeah.
Imagine this occurring though when we didn't have any technology like I don't know.
Oh, I would have been sending you a paper airplane all the way to Geelong.
Nah, but as
Do string phones go that far?
but we're
You
bored
know,
now.
the string in the paper cup.
Yeah, but we're bored now, right? Imagine then.
So, imagine
Yeah.
in 1918 for the Spanish flu, like that's what you're saying, literally.
Yeah, but
Like,
the
they didn't have
no,
the- yeah,
that's
but they didn't have the technology. I'm saying,
they didn't.
and that
Yeah, but in the Spanish flu, they didn't take the precautions they did now. Everyone just fucking
Like the
died.
Black Plague. Is this?
yeah, I was about to get into this. Like, I've got no idea how pandemics from the times where travel was limited to like horseback or some shit, like how they managed to avoid mass extinction when deadly viruses
didn't.
like the Black
If you
Plague.
survived,
Yeah,
you
they didn't really.
survived, and if you didn't survive, that's it. It was just like survival of the fittest, because there wasn't any way to really spread the message around. And once it got to the
Yeah.
town, nobody was really aware of it anyways. So, like, you couldn't avoid it.
Well,
You just had to
didn't the Spanish
hope your
flu
immune system was strong enough.
kill like some like insanely high number of people? Like
50
Oh,
mil or
I'm pretty
something.
sure. I'm pretty sure. What Spanish flu killed 50 million
I think
people?
something like 50 million. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a lot.
like possibly even more. I'm pretty sure.
Surely
Yeah,
this is just
nah,
like
it was 50 million.
Yeah, that's insane, dude.
It's just gotta
Do
be
you
like
boys reckon the
nature protecting
coronavirus
us,
could
right?
get to that point?
Ah,
Probably not.
Oh,
Don't know.
I mean,
depends if coronavirus is actually coronavirus.
yeah, that's it.
We've got so
You
much,
know?
That's
we've
it.
got so much more
Could be
technology
a
now
common cold.
Yeah, I think we're a lot.
than back then.
Yeah, we're a lot smarter now.
If coronavirus happened back in like ages ago,
Is
when we didn't have all this technology, then you
Like
could probably see
1800.
those numbers.
But-
Yeah.
like on like actually comparing it though, is how deadly is it compared to these other flus and pandemics?
Corona.
I'll,
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
already
I'll
see
have a look
numbers
at
now.
the
Like,
mortality rate.
more people
A
die from
3%?
diarrhea each day, right?
Diarrhea.
Yeah, it's true.
Look, I don't know if
Yeah,
that's a
more
fact.
people die from diarrhea than coronavirus at
Big-
the moment.
Isn't
The thing
diarrhea a
about
symptom
coronavirus
of
is It's
coronavirus?
just a lot more. It's a lot more contagious than other diseases.
Yeah.
It spreads a lot faster.
Yeah, it survives on what was it,
Necessarily
plastic
kills
and
people.
steel for up to 72 hours, and it like keeps evolving because apparently at the start that only used to be 3 hours, but now 72 hours, which is crazy.
So you never know. It could evolve into something worse. than it
Yeah,
is now.
could.
Could evolve into that
Looking
100%
at the stuff I'm looking
fatality
at.
rate.
Corona is evolving.
Looking at the stuff I'm looking at now, though, like, there's only 1.2 mil confirmed cases worldwide. Like for this to be as bad as the Spanish flu, considering the mortality rate, which is only about 2.5% according to this, what I'm looking at now, there'd have to be like so many people getting it, like at least probably 800 or 900 mil.
But that's just confirmed cases, right? Because apparently you
Yeah.
don't show symptoms for up to 10 days. So you can be a carrier for those 10 days,
Yeah, that's right.
which is insane.
That's the thing. All of these stats are like about a week behind on average. So, but there's still like obviously graphs that can tell you what their projections
And like
are.
who
so.
like reports this? Surely not all the hospitals in
it's
the world would
nah,
be
it's
taking stats.
It's definitely just a matter of like gathering data and just sort of following like the trend and sort of just predicting what it would be.
Yeah.
But
Following the bell curve there.
on a
Tell you
se- on a
doesn't follow the bell
serious
curve.
note though, I saw a tweet by Joe Rogan this morning and it said have they started making pandemic porn yet?
Oh, dead
Is
set-
it serious? No?
dead set, you reckon if you looked it up, you'd find some.
I don't know.
I
Have
reckon.
you guys set up your free premium account?
Is it free? Mate, don't tell me that.
Nah, but I saw on Facebook like a couple weeks ago that searches for coronavirus on Pornhub had increased by like 20 or 30% or something ridiculous.
That's crazy.
There's some sick people out there. Wait, how about
There's two of them in these
Like the rule
podcasts, I
43
reckon.
of the internet or whatever.
Yeah, don't even get into that.
Yeah, it's all a bit of a. Go on, mate.
Oh, it's like you boys might have heard of it. It's a Facebook page called Shit Towns of Australia,
Never.
and each week
Yeah.
they bring out their shit town power rankings.
Yes.
And top of the shit town power rankings this week was Geelong.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
That's a bit
bullshit.
harsh.
yeah.
No, this is why though, because they obviously list their reasons, and this is Geelong's reasons. Cops called to brothel violating COVID-19 laws after queuing customers caused traffic jam.
Mate, I've never
I
heard
did hear
anything
about
more
that.
Geelong.
That's like a
Yeah.
real
Hear
thing.
about it.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Good on 'em.
Brothel
Good on 'em.
operating illegally in Belmont, I think it was, and
Really?
obviously because that many people are bored and just got like nothing else to do, there was like a full traffic jam because that many people were queuing up in their cars for it.
That's nuts. That is
That's
nuts.
That's like how Daniel
The
was down
rumor-
High Street the day it opened or whatever.
Rumor has it that queue wasn't for the donuts.
Yes, in Belmont. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you Daniel's Donuts,
Can you
boys.
imagine the state of a brothel in Belmont?
Mate,
It would be fucked.
Not a bad suburb. It's definitely not the worst in
It'd be
Geelong.
fucked
Mate.
up.
I'm just
But a few
surprised.
other shit towns here.
Belmont's
Number
next to the
5.
best suburb in Geelong. Well, like the wealthiest. One of the
Yeah.
wealthiest.
Shit town power ranking number 5 on the list is a town called Oodlawirra in South Australia, where a woman was arrested and fined after failing to stop at border checkpoint, coughing at cops.
Oh, that reminds me. Have you guys seen all those videos of people, particularly?
Spitting on fruit.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
licking
I
and
watched
spitting
it
on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's like people with confirmed like going around spitting on fruit.
it's
Like they
absolutely
resent
fucked.
everyone else for having
Oh
it.
my
Not
god.
like they're in North Korea and they just want to get their last word out there.
Yeah.
Fucking Corona
Have you
version of an
guys-
incel.
Have you guys seen the video of the it was like the old like Asian lady and she coughed on all like the fruits and veg and then she was at the front of the store and puts her like she has her mask back on her face and she's saying like the cop like was trying to like cuff her up and she's like, what did I do? I didn't do anything wrong, but like, literally the cameras fucking caught her
Fucking
like coughing on
dumb
everything.
bitch.
Is the
Right.
like
I think it was
Like, I
like
worked
50
in a-
grand worth of food.
Retarded. That's so
Work
dumb.
in a fruit shop. If I saw someone doing that, like while I was working, I would full tackle them to the ground. Like I wouldn't
Yeah,
hesitate in
and
doing
catch
that.
coronavirus. No worries, mate.
you'd have to get out of the store, surely.
Nah, it's just
Yeah.
we live in a society, don't we?
Oh, we really
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
We really do live in a society.
Number 8 on the shit town power rankings is Warrnambool, where hooligans trash
Oh,
public
yeah.
toilet and destroy precious supplies of toilet paper.
Nice.
We're running out. But to be real, have any of you guys gone to the supermarket recently and actually seen some?
Um,
I'm not
I've
going
never-
as
I've
much
never seen
now, but every time I have gone in probably the past month, never seen any. Not once.
yeah. it's-
You go with the left hand. I tell you what.
Yeah, mate.
What they
What-
taught you in China.
Yeah.
Although
thank
I was scared for a bit there though because for that week or so I went shopping and all the meat was fucking gone.
Yeah, no mince.
It's all good now. Everything's come back, but
I
people
feel like everyone's
Yeah.
kind of realized.
people were just panicking and
Initially, when everyone was panicking, like everything was gone. There was no veggies,
Something
no
has to be
meat.
going-
Yeah, we
Absolutely. That's
full
probably
had
the
panic
only
buying
good
in
message
the
that ScoMo put out there, saying to stop panic buying. He
yeah,
was actually really
yeah.
aggressive about it, assertive, which
Yeah,
is what he
good,
should do
good.
because he's
Needed
useless
it.
otherwise. But that was the only good message I think he's put out through this whole thing.
I was saying to Rob the other day, it was
Yeah.
probably the fucking The old little Bell Park wogs that started the whole panic telling.
Yeah.
I've got no doubt about that. Like honestly,
That's not the
Yeah.
wogs. No, they fucking grow that shit in their
but we
backyard.
full had panic buying in the fucking fruit shop. Like
Sick.
there were people
What
coming
fruit
in and
were
buying
people
bulky
panic
of like not really fruit, more like the long lasting vegetables. So like potatoes, broccoli, collie, like stuff you could freeze.
Yeah.
Like our prices were ridiculous. At one like in that week where the panic buying was at its peak, broccoli was like $20 a kilo. It was
Fuck.
ridiculous.
That's crazy.
And a full
Yeah.
collie was like $10.
That's insane.
And if you guys seen the photos from the rubbish dumps now, I saw this photo where one of I don't know, must have been one of the guys at work there holding up like a whole like pork butt, must have been like a 3 kilo piece of pork, like just perfect, because people are panic buying and now there's going to be so much more waste because they're throwing it out like they didn't need it.
Yeah, that's
angry,
fucked.
dude.
Yeah,
That's fucked.
so wasteful.
Oh well, what do you do? And it just
I think
there you go.
I think it's
Sorry.
good that you know, some people are preparing. You know, they're good. They're being cautious of the 1.5 meter rule. Like they're obeying all the social health rules. But some people just go so fucking like above and beyond for it, to the point where they are literally a cancer to society. Like the people that panic buy.
Well,
This bloke I had
video
at
of
work the other day.
the 3 chicks like actually having a brawl over toilet paper is viral. I see that on so many YouTube videos these days.
Was that with
Like,
that?
actually
Was that
worldwide?
was that with that
like-
fat chick in it?
Yeah, yeah. And does that make you think like this is what people think of it? I mean, I guess everyone around the world's doing it, but that video specifically, I see on lots of YouTube videos now.
Yeah. It's silly.
I've noticed like some people, like if I'm in an aisle at the supermarket, because I went a couple days ago, so I was standing in an aisle and this lady was standing at the end, like waiting for me to leave the aisle, so she could get it to herself.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean that's
She's
going
that fucking
a bit. That's going a bit far with it. It was like this bloke I saw at work the other day. He walks in, he's wearing like a full fucking lab coat. Not even kidding, and like a fucking like literally like a gas mask, like what you'd see out of COD. Like
That's actually pretty.
I can't even describe. He looked retarded.
Nah,
bro.
I rate that.
his
If I
whole-
saw that, I
No,
would
it's-
be fucking loving it. That's
It was
sick.
very stupid.
Dude
It's over the
got
top because
cardboard and wore it like around his waist, like the 1.5 meters of cardboard.
yeah, but the public, the literal like release from the World Health Organization says don't wear masks unless you're sick. It does not, because it does nothing to stop you from catching it. If you touch
Hey,
a
that-
surface with coronavirus on
It
it
only
and then
Hey,
cover your face,
how's
like
this?
saliva
You're
from
gone.
breathing.
Yeah, how's
should
this?
be-
How's this though? Well, I actually about that. Even like I understand it's World Health Organization. I was listening to a podcast the other day, right? Yes, it was Joe Rogan. I'm not saying it's credible.
Oh, was it?
It was Eric Weinstein, which was the guest. But
Harvey's brother?
Harvey's brother, yeah, nah. He's a scientist, and he said that although World Health Organization and all these sources say masks don't help, they really do help a lot, and it's just a matter of them trying to preserve the masks for people who need them most, which is people in medical
And that-
fields, etc.
Do you think the mask factories can't keep up?
Pretty much.
It's
Yeah.
demand's too high. There's a lot of shit that they're not keeping up with at the moment, like hand sanitizer, like gloves, like at the pizza shop, like we're really struggling to get gloves in because they're so expensive and they're so high demand.
So you just say,
You know what's-
fuck
you
it,
know
we'll
what's
just
good
make
now?
pizzas with our fucking dirty hands.
You know what's good now? A lot of places that have to shut down, like a lot of factory settings and whatnot, are repurposing to become like things like hand sanitizer factories. Have you guys
that's
seen that?
smart.
Not only a good business idea, but like what we need right now, which is fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
Would it be like back like in the World Wars, like heaps of factories got converted to making other stuff to help the war effort?
And those original
Yeah.
factories, you know, might end up just continuing to be health aid product factories.
How do you boys think you'll cope if we are in this. At the moment, we're stage 3 lockdown.
Yeah.
Stage 4 lockdown looks inevitable.
Yeah.
How do you think you will cope if we're in this full lockdown for what could be 6, 7, 8 months?
And it's gonna be tough. Like I already hate doing uni online.
For sure.
Like I really
Yeah, it
enjoy
is
going
really
It's fucking
classes.
terrible. Mate,
Yeah,
I
just
already
without that interaction or like motivation to go to class, it's really hard, man. I feel like it'll hurt uni the most.
yeah.
Other than that, you know.
Oh, I had my
It's hard.
first. I had my first like online Blackboard collaborate.
First
which-
and last, mate.
literally, bro. Never again. Like never again. Because the whole point of it is that it's basically like a video chat call where everyone's got their cameras on, everyone's got their mics on, and it's just like a normal class.
Seminar
Yeah.
leader make you put your camera on.
But literally everyone that I was in this thing with, no one had their mic on,
Yeah,
no one had their
literally
video
no.
on.
No one puts.
So
their
it
camera-
was, yeah. So it was literally just our lecturer just talking, and it was so awkward because then he put us into like groups of 4, where again no one had their video on, no one had their mic on, and he's like, "All right, well you need to go into your groups and discuss whatever we were talking about at the time." So for the first 10 minutes, I just sat in this thing, no one contributing anything, and then he joins our group, and he's like sitting there for like the next 5 minutes, going, "Come on, guys. We need you to contribute." Like, it's literally just like the most awkward thing I've ever experienced. And I was like, fuck
Nice.
this, I'm out.
Yeah.
So I just left.
And that,
And
the lecturers literally
I just
ask
swore that I'd
questions.
never do one again.
The lecturers ask questions and it's just dead silent, and they just wait there until
Turn the
someone
mic on.
answers.
Yeah, it's
Yo,
a bit
one
of
of
a
my
fun
lecturers was like,
fest.
"Oh, can you still hear me, guys? Like, I'm not really getting any responses here." And somebody like puts a thumbs up in the chat. Like,
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here I am putting that F in the chat.
Yeah, here you are just leaving the seminar because But literally, man, sometimes I'll have like a lecture before a seminar, and there's like 12 people in the lecture maybe, and then I go straight into the seminar after that, and there's like 2 people. What's the
Yeah.
point?
Good vid to watch, boys. Have you boys watched the Nelk Boys?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
funny as
yeah.
fuck.
They did a recent one where it's like joining Zoom lectures.
Oh, nice.
And it's
Fucking
literally,
yes.
literally the funniest thing.
Oh,
He
I think
does one where he joins it. They've like set up their own little nightclub. He like joins the lecture, and in the background, he's like in a nightclub with like girls like fucking dancing. on
nice.
it. And he's like,
That's good shit.
American or something.
Now,
You see how the nightclubs now are doing streams?
yeah, I
Yeah.
did see that.
Piano bar.
Saturday night
Bloom
streams.
Bloom had fucking some guy playing for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, mate, I can't even go to Bloom's fucking like IRL. What do you expect me to watch it on a fucking stream?
I think that's sad. You'd have to be to actually, like, sorry if there's any of our one listener that would go to one of these, but how sad would you have to be to go to an online nightclub?
Yeah, it's a bit fucked.
Yeah,
That's
how,
just-
how are people gonna get
Yeah.
I guess it's what we've come to
Sexually
now.
Can't understand it though. Like it's just like DJs streaming music that you can just maybe put on in the background, like that. Kind
Yeah,
of thing.
that's fair enough. But
Yeah, but
Imagine
I don't really
people
listen
go
to
to
DJ music unless I am in a nightclub or I'm having pre-drinks or whatever.
yeah,
For a lot of people that are quite the opposite. Like I know I've got a few cousins up in like Brisbane, and that's literally all the music they listen to.
yeah, it depends. It's just taste.
Yeah.
But what do you reckon moving forward? I reckon. See, you know how we've got the stages of lockdown, for example. Like stage 1, don't be in a crowd of, I don't know, what was it initially, like
500 initially.
500, yeah, and now it's
Yeah.
down to what, two or more,
Yeah.
or something.
to-
See, why are we doing it slow? Why are we doing it slowly and not just straight up
Because we
saying,
have poor leadership.
yeah, that's right, that's right.
It's because
Yeah. I don't know if it is poor leadership. Like, you can disagree with me all you want, but I think what Australia is trying to do is, by doing all these restrictions while still maintaining a strong economy,
But it's not because
That's all. That's all.
I've lost
ScoMo cares about.
my job. Hunter's lost his job.
Lost my job.
Nolty's lost his job. Rob's lost his job.
We're still working actually.
I'm the
as
only
of
one
this
here
week.
that hasn't.
So-
Is that what you're saying?
So how is that possibly stimulating the economy? It's literally just causing people like us to panic because we don't have money anymore. Instead of just
I
shutting,
lost my
just
job
shutting.
before like stage. I lost my job in like stage 2 lockdown.
Yeah, instead of just
You know.
shutting everyone down, saying don't worry about working for 2-3 weeks, don't worry about paying your bills. Then once everything's cleared, everything's back to normal. The whole country is obviously cleared because no one's done anything for 3 weeks, and it's been like over a month already, and it's just causing more shit.
The mining
in my opinion,
companies own ScoMo,
I don't know. It's just silly in my opinion.
and it's all about their stock price. They literally don't give a shit about the general health of the Australian population. And since ScoMo's their puppet, they'll tell him what to do.
Anyway, I don't want to get too political, but fuck.
Yeah,
Alright.
no.
Say though, Tanino, like I agree with you, but I think the issue, and I was thinking about it the other day, what's the most optimal amount of time for a country to be in complete lockdown?
What did you
And
say?
obviously, optimal amount of time.
Optimal.
Sorry, I fucked that word. Fuck off, cunt. Let me finish. So,
Yeah, I get what you're
what's
saying. What?
what is it like?
Three
It
weeks,
has to be
4
over
weeks?
a month.
Nah, why?
Still opening. You still need to leave open your essential services like a Woolworths and stuff up open. And
Yeah.
the thing is, there have been cases of the incubation period being 21 days. And so even with that being said, I don't even know how it's possible to like kind of get rid of it completely in
Yeah.
regards to
I
Like,
really do think it's
it
gonna
just keeps
be.
passing
I really do think it's gonna be a long-term thing.
100%.
Yeah, could
End
be
of the
like
year
a
at
year.
least.
I reckon.
Even longer
Alright.
until a vaccine or a cure is
Yeah.
found, then there's not much we can really
We'll
do.
have a vaccine for a year. I don't see us having a vaccine until probably most of the virus is contained anyway.
I think I heard
Yeah.
March or
Like people
something
who
was
are
the
Have
earliest.
a
like,
potential future
Or people
outbreak.
who are survived. Yeah. That
Uh,
just kind of makes me think like, what like let's go around. Like what's everyone gonna do once this kind of all dies down and you can go out and do your normal thing again?
Get on the punt.
Fuck yeah.
Right now.
Go to Crown Casino.
You're living in the front every day anyway. What do you mean?
We'll be on
shit.
virtual dogs all the way to 2022 or however long it's doing this.
When
God
all the
damn.
dogs get coronavirus, I'll be on the virtuals. Don't worry.
Get on the absolute salt.
Yeah.
Well, let's genuinely
Yeah,
go
I'll
around.
Yeah. Go.
I'll,
Nina, do you want to start? I'll go start.
What you will be doing when it's done? Is that the question?
What's the first thing you're gonna go out and do once everything's back open, back to normal?
Go on, Rob.
I can go first. I'd probably, I think would want to go with the boys out, like for fucking like a bender for a full weekend.
Yeah. Good answer. Good
Like
answer.
that would be the best shit, honestly.
It will be, and
but
I
other
think
than that,
because
Go.
everyone's in this space of being confined. When we all do go out, like as in everyone, not just us boys, it'll be fucking unreal. I think.
I
be
can't
so
wait to
sick.
be like in a group setting, which is something I never really think because I'm a bit more of an introvert. But like I had tickets to Tame Impala, which was meant to be this month, and now that's in December, and I
Yeah.
feel like I really be wanting to go to that
Yeah.
once
Yeah. Nice.
everything goes back to normal.
the biggest
I think
positive.
I'll.
Salts.
So, I was just gonna say quickly, and you can go Sal.
Sorry, Rob.
That the biggest positive out
Yeah.
of this was like everyone's kind of become a lot more grateful. Of,
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Oh yeah,
100%.
sure.
100%.
their relationships and stuff. It's kind of good.
Which
but
is, yeah,
other than
it is.
that,
It's
everything else is shit.
sorry, Josh. It's just like a massive break because like everything was really fast paced. Like life, just fucking work, uni, study, fucking social media. Even social media, just everything was so fast paced. This is like a big break, and you can really just slow down and, as you said, be grateful for what we did have.
Imagine having nothing to do and still not wanting to do uni work.
Like me.
Because a lot of people are in that
Yeah.
situation right now, and it's actually like
I literally
crazy.
submitted on Friday night. I submitted a 400 word assignment, so not even a big one, at 11:59 p.m. so no time to spare.
That's clutch
Like,
city.
I'm adult.
And I've got pretty much all of my spare time to do it. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Crazy.
I don't know. I think one of the first things I want to do when everything goes back to normal. So hypothetically, that there is a weekend where everything opens back up, and it's not like a gradual reopening of everything. Say it does just all open up at once.
Yeah.
I think I'll want to go on one of our camping trips again. That's what I want to do.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
'Cause-
That'd be.
Because we haven't, well, obviously we haven't had, because anyway, to anyone that's listening, in our group, within our group of mates, which is us 5, and then chuck in like Ollie Matthews,
A few others.
Dom Randall, yeah, a few other boys. We try to go on a boys camping trip. You know what? Usually like once or twice a year.
We did biannually last year, but even annually
We
would
did.
be.
2 last year, and we had one planned for a month's time from now. Not really camping that one, but staying in my holiday house, which obviously now is probably not going to happen. But yeah, that's what I'd want to do most, which is weird considering out of the 5 of us boys that I'm definitely probably the one that goes out the most, like to town and whatnot.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but that's what I like. For some reason, since all this lockdown, that's what I've been craving more so than going out and drinking.
Fair enough.
And footy, like footy, just missing footy is killing me a lot.
It's like
It's really hard for me.
Yeah. That's true. Sport. But I think like from talking to other people, we still do find ways to catch up a lot. Like how we play Scribblio and like other.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Minecraft.
Nolty, what do you got?
Well, to sort of follow on from Salt, I really wanted to go for a overseas trip this year, I reckon,
Yeah.
at the end of the year. So when like flights and stuff open up, I'd really love to go do a trip somewhere. Because I'm not really sure yet, but like the travel industry is just going to get smashed by this whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like now that no one's traveling.
Yeah, for sure.
So once you're able to, like,
Oh, we got
invest back in that industry that's really going to be struggling.
Europe coming up, boys. So
Yes.
Yeah.
2020.
2022.
2020.
2022. 21.
Following on from that as well,
21.
Ryan, I literally, me and just one of my other good mates were going to go to Backpack Southeast Asia in October. I literally had like the flights up, literally one button away from being booked when this whole thing broke out.
Yeah.
Like I was
I
so
remember
close
you
to having
saying
those flights booked.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Sick invite.
And
Yeah.
sorry, Rob. No gays allowed, unfortunately.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Might get stoned to death in the country we wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for like a couple weeks, like 2 weeks trip to Asia, be cheap as
Yeah, do something small, something enjoyable.
small.
A
pre-Europe trip, I reckon, boys.
pre-Europe
For Europe trip. Hey, we're saving up for Europe, but hey, for Europe trip, right?
No, but to Asia, you'd spend like a K for
Yeah.
for like 2 weeks. Is that cheap?
Like one of those countries that's like the brown in Monopoly.
Yeah.
One of the
The
brown
one-
countries. One of those ones.
The one no
We're
one
not going-
buys.
We're not going for the Mayfair yet.
The Mayfair's coming. Mayfair's coming. All right, boys. Well,
What about you, Nina?
we are. Yeah, no, me. Just getting everything back to normal. I just want number one's probably as shit as it. Obviously, we're gonna have a big sesh, a bender. But I do want to get my job sorted again and all that type of shit. Because it's sort of fucking with my head, not having work and an income. Although I don't spend it on much at the moment. It's just a bit
I think
shit.
it's good to just have a routine. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll make like a schedule I should stick to, like 10 p.m. bedtime, 8 a.m. wake up. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, we're nearing the hour mark, boys. So if we want to wrap things up now, or
I'm happy to wrap it up there. I think that was a pretty good discussion.
Yeah. So message of the day is fucking stay positive and fuck this corona shit.
Physical distancing, not social isolation.
That's it.
That's what I want people to take away from this one.
That's it. Still have fun with the boys.
Easy.
All right, guys. Cheers.
Ooh.